All right, guys. Thank you all again for joining us today with the International Association of Woodcarvers. Today is May the 29th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we thank you all for coming out today and taking time out of your Saturday to join us. Today is a true meeting of the International Association of Woodcarvers because we have on someone with us from Helsinki, Finland. Jani Grönlund, and I know I've slaughtered that, but I'll let him pronounce his last name. He's coming to us from Helsinki. He's going to be talking to us today about carving fanbirds. He also does chainsaw carving and spoon carving. And so he's going to come on here in a few minutes and talk to us a little bit about that and do a demonstration on fanbirds. So we thank you for joining us today, Jani. I know it's a little later there where you are, so thanks for taking time out and joining us. I want to remind everybody to check out woodcarvingacademy.com for classes that's coming up through Woodcarving Academy. I know starting next weekend, Ryan Olson has a class that's starting that's going to be on carving miniatures. I think he has some other things that's going to be coming up. So if you're interested in a class with Ryan, check him out. Dale Green has a class on a cowboy called Roper that's going to be coming up in June as well. Dave Stetson's that's on with us today. He's going to be doing a standing figure with folded arms. He's been working on getting ready for that class. So if you're interested in taking Dave's class, reach out to him. Janet Cordell is going to be teaching a class on carving an old face. So reach out to Janet. She does more realistic carvings as far as females and stuff goes. So check with Janet if you're interested in that. And then Dylan Goodson's going to be Dylan Goodson's going to be teaching a class on a hobbit hole relief scene. If you haven't done any relief carving, Dylan's a great teacher, and it'd definitely be an interesting class if you get a chance to take that. So reach out to Dylan. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things coming up through the International Association of Woodcarvers. Before we started the meeting today, one of the things that we discussed was having an open room where people can come in and share wood carving with each other, more of an informal type meeting. We had our first one last night where we opened the room, and I called it the Zoom carving room. We opened the room at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll let people just kind of come and go and share as they want to, talk to the people in the room, ask each other questions. I think one of the questions last night was about a knife and, what kind of knife is this and where is it from and that kind of thing. So we had some discussion around that. It's just a good opportunity for us to connect as carvers. So we plan on doing that ongoing. Again, that was on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope to use the same meeting number, so it should be easy for everybody to kind of come and go. We'll post on social media about that, so stay tuned with that. And if you want to join us next Friday night. Some of the other things that we talked about doing, because we have a drop-off in numbers because it's summer and because the coronavirus situation is kind of dying down a little bit, so people are a little more free to travel around and go out and do things. We want to maybe change up the format through the summer as far as these meetings go. We're going to start doing live meetings just once a month. So next weekend we'll have on Roger Stegall, and Roger's on with us today. And then our next meeting after that, as far as a live meeting format like we're doing today, will be July the 10th. And we're going to try to do the second Saturday of every month. So it'll be July the 10th. August the 14th, and September the 11th. That'll take us through the summer and kind of into the fall, where people will start coming back inside, and then hopefully we'll be able to pick back up with weekly meetings at that point. Some of the things that Tom and I have talked about is maybe doing one-on-one type interviews where we're able to meet with people and capture stories about wood carvings, and also still maybe capture some demonstrations and put those out on YouTube so people will still have content that they can go out and view. And we'll be announcing more about those kind of things coming up, and maybe doing like a mailbag situation where we gather questions from you all that we can ask the person and then put those videos out on YouTube so that we can share that with you. But we'll keep you posted on social media. So make sure that you watch Instagram, Facebook. We'll be talking about it more on YouTube. But that's kind of the thought process as far as these meetings go. We want to make sure that we continue to offer opportunities for carvings through this group. We have the Zoom subscription, so we want to make sure that we're using it. So if y'all have any other suggestions as far as things that we can do, make sure you reach out to us and let us know. We're open to suggestions as far as things that we can do with this group to continue to grow wood carving and share it with each other. So we'll be looking for ideas as far as that stuff goes. So having said all of that, again, Jani, we want to thank you for joining us today. He said it was about 10 o'clock at night there. So again, thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you talk a little bit about the fanbirds, and I look forward to the demonstration. Thanks again for coming on with us today.
Yeah, thanks. So my name is Jani Grönlund and I'm Finnish woodcarver, and today we are making fanbird from this kind of block. This is fresh Scotch pine, and I'll show later where you need to take that from the tree and go on. Yeah, I'm quite new woodcarver. I started last year when Corona started, and I made my first spoon. It's like this. It took like 20 hours to do this, and I sanded this, but nowadays I can make spoons like this in few hours and without sanding. And I started to do chainsaw carvings and fanbirds and wood turnings. And my goal is to try and learn new wood stuff every day and go better and better. And I'm studying agricultural sciences here in Helsinki University. So the woodworking is like a second job or a hobby for me now. And feel free to ask questions. I try to understand them and answer. But yeah, now you can see my second camera there, and I'll show where you need to pick this wood. You see that, I don't know, do you see how tight this is? And here is the tree, and you need to block this like this. And then you need to take the hardwood is here, and this is Scotch pine what I'll use. And this is, you don't use this stuff at all. And when you have this wood here, you can cut this like this, and then you can have this kind of block. And now we are cleaning this. Do you have questions so far? I'm using my Puukko knife. I have made this like 3 years ago, and I use this knife in my everyday life. This is my hunting knife. This is my carving knife. I'll finish my chainsaw carvings with this, and I'll do cold roasting. Here are a few examples of cold roasting. Yeah, I'll use this knife very much, and I can carve this kind of bird only by using knife, but I like to use a little bit saw and this kind of special knife. Also, my friend made these. The grip what I'm using in the beginning is the basic grip to take a large amount of wood away. You can use this kind of grip also. The goal is to smoothen the surface and get nice block.
I know I'll need to convert it to English measurements, but what kind of dimensions is that block?
Maybe this is 2 to 3 inches, and I don't know, is this half inches? The thickness.
If you hold your thumb right there for half a second, if you don't mind, just to kind of show the depth of it on the side. Okay, cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And now I'm cleaning this line here. Maybe I'll take this away. Now you see better.
Hey, Jani, is that green wood or is it dried? And
Yeah, good question. This is green wood, and I have boiled this also to be sure that it's really wet. So you cannot use dry wood, but you can dry wood and later boil that. And this kind of block takes like 3 or 4 hours to boil, and it needs to be so wet that it sinks to the bottom. And if it's on the water, then it's not ready to make birch. Yeah, now we have nice smooth block here, and we can plan what kind of bird we are making. You can see here is my example bird that we need to make 2 notches from here and here. And here is the notch where we are turning these wethers, and this is the lock notch. And the position is like, here is the first notch, and here we make the lock notch. And later we make the silhouette of the bird, and it's called something like this. There are different styles to make notch. You can use only your knife and push and make here little wedge, or I like to use saw, Japanese saw, and be sure that these are deep enough. These are for marking. The thickness of the first notch is something, I don't know, it's 1 or 2 millimeters. So I don't know how many inches is it, but it's really small. Do you see how narrow this is? It's like this thick. And here we are making not so deep notch. You can use different wood for making this bird, but in Finland the most common tree is Scotch pine. Or then you can use spruce and And maybe you can Google what is good tree in your area. But the most important thing is that it needs to be very, very old and slow growing tree. So this thick tree here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like 20 years to grow this much. So it needs to be so thick as possible. And now I'm using my special knife. There is, you can see what kind of it is. And this is good for this grip. It's very fast to take these chips away. And yeah, you need to remember where your thumb is. It needs to always be down enough. And these both sides needs to be symmetrical. You can ask some questions while I'm carving because I'm so concentrated that I cannot speak English at the same time. Yeah, when we are almost ready, it's good to put this to the table and be sure that we have clean. When you start making fun birds, the first one is not very nice looking, I think. For me, the first bird was very terrible, and I used glue to put every feather back because they dropped. I used a dry birch, and there was so much mistakes during that bird that I cannot even count so much. But yeah, the second bird was a little bit better, and you just need to make and make. Here you can see that they are not symmetrical. So I'm taking a little bit wood away from this side.
Hey, Jani, are you self-taught or did somebody teach you how to make them?
Yeah, I'm totally self-taught. I have watched videos from YouTube and read some books and tried. Yeah, now this is good enough. And now we are making this lock notch. If you have wheat chisel or some other chisel, you can put this to the table and push with your chisel these notches. What is best for you? Now this is good. If we want to make some decoration notches, we can make like a little bit here. So this is only for decoration. In Instagram, I have pictures about the steps how to make fanbirds if you are interested. There are these different steps and few pictures where you can see. Now this is good, and now we need to make some profile for the end of the weather, because now this is just a block. We can make like V shape. Maybe this is better than V. Every time the bird is different, and that's very nice. And every time I'll use different size of wood, and the block is different, and sometimes there is a little knot, and I'll try to make an eye from it or something. You can do whatever you want. And now we can make this body a little bit smaller. And now we need to be very careful, because this is not very strong and we are carving chips away. So we need to remember where the force is going, that we don't break these.
Jani, how did you learn how to do this?
I watched videos from YouTube, and I tried myself, and then I make some mistakes, and then I watch videos again, and so on. And you need to use your eye, and you see what is beautiful and try to do that. Yeah, now the body is nice looking. We don't make the profile of the body yet. We don't make this yet, because when we are making the feathers, we need to use this flat area here. Now I'll check that everything is clean and ready for the feather making. Do you make birch in America? Is it common or not?
I know we have one person that comes to the Charlotte Woodcarving show, and that's all he does is fanbird. So I think there's some
Okay.
carvers that do it, but not a whole lot.
I think this tradition comes somewhere from here, because some legend says that this comes from northern Russia, and Finland is near to Russia, and in eastern Finland there are people who make this. And yeah, I want to believe that that's tradition is coming from here somewhere. And so it's nice to be part of that tradition and maybe teach some people in the future to make these. But yeah, now we have this profile. Profile is ready. Yeah, and now we start making the feathers. And here you need to take good position and put the wood against your chest, and I have this little letter here, and every time I'm using my back muscles. I'm not using my hands at all. Hand is just keeping my knife steady, and the bevel of the knife needs to be yeah, like this. It cannot be like this. It needs to be like this. So the bottom bevel is always against the next feather, and the knife is going like this. It's not going straight, and so it's slicing gently, and this slicing came from your back muscle. And you can use your fingers to stop the knife in the beginning, that it's nice and steady here, and then start making feathers. And usually the first 1 or 2 they flies off. Yeah.
What thickness are them slices, Jani?
Hmm?
What thickness are the slices? They seem to be very thin.
Sorry, I don't understand.
How thick is each feather?
Do you see?
It's like a millimeter or 2?
Yeah, millimeter. Yeah, I'm not sure how many millimeters, but 1 or 2 millimeters. And you can try to do as small as possible, but not so small that they are very weak. So it's balancing between the strong and very small feathers.
And 2 millimeters is about 1/16 of an inch for those who need inches.
Yeah. And here, when the feather is coming almost to the end, you need to stop cutting, because the bevel of the knife breaks the feather. If you are pushing your knife so far, it can break this wood away. And that's why we didn't make the profile of the bird yet, because then this part is weaker. So you need to control your knife, and like now, my whole upper body is concentrated, and I'm starting to sweating right now, if you are interested. But yeah, you need to concentrate and use your muscles. But if you are using a little smaller wood, then it's a little bit easier. Now I have quite thick weather, so this is a little bit harder. You can check, is it going straight or not? And sometimes there drops something off, but you don't need to care about that. People can use some kind of bush knives if they put wood like this to the workbench and they have knife where is two handles and they can push these feathers. But I'll use this style. And yeah, there is questions how long I soak the wood. I put this to the boiling water and it's there like 3 or 4 hours.
How
And
important is the thickness of the blade?
Thickness of the blade is like, I don't know, 2 millimeters. 2 or 3 millimeters. Do you know the legend of the fanbird? It's something about that centuries ago in Russia, there was some family living in the forest in a little cottage, and the boy of the family was very sick, and he was dying almost, and his father didn't know what to do until he asked from his son, what would you like to see in your life? And he says that I want to see summer and flying birds. And then the father started to make some kind of bird in the night time when the boy was sleeping. And when the bird was ready, he put that hanging top of the oven. And when the warm air comes here, it starts to rolling some kind of, and in the morning when the boy wake up, the sickness was somewhere and he was healthy boy. And after that, all the people want to buy and have bird from the father. So this bird gives lucky and happiness to home if you make and give this to someone.
So do you ever sell them, Jani, or do you give them away, or what do you usually do with yours?
I have give these away and I have also sold these. Next summer I have my first exhibition where I'll sell, and my chainsaw carvings are are there, and there is like, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 birds hanging in a big branch from the big room, and there people can buy those. So I haven't sold these lot yet, but maybe in the future.
How small and how large of birds have you made?
Here is some small bird. This is not very beautiful, but maybe this is the smallest. And the biggest is like my hand, like this. But then the feather is so big that it's very hard to make the feather. And yes, now you can see that I'm halfway through here from here. And I turn this upside down and start making feathers from here. And I try to support all these feathers together, and I'll keep my hands also here, that this is steady as possible. My girlfriend spent 3 nights making her first fanbird. I don't have permission to show that for you guys, but yeah, first can take some time.
Would you have to re-soak the wood?
You can, but it's not necessary. Like after making the feather, you can re-soak this, because then you are starting to spare them, and then the wood needs to be very wet that it doesn't break. And this making feather, it's not possible if the wood is not wet enough. So when you are making your first bird, maybe you can boil these too much than use too dry wood. The pressure of the knife needs to be just against this wood. If you little bit do some movement, then something will break. Here we take this part away. Yeah, we take this also away. Now we have quite a big hole here, but it's not so big deal. Now we have all the feathers done, and now we need to check is all are they all from here to the top? And if there are some feathers are missing, that they are not ready enough, then we can just make this a little bit bent. And at the same time, we can see that here are a few feathers. They are not the perfect ones, so we can cut them off. We can just break them, or I like to use my knife because then I don't break some other feather. So now we should have only the good feathers here. And at this point, we can make the side profile. I like to use some kind of 1/3 rule. So here is 3 parts, and here is the 1/3, and here is the nose. What is the nose of the bird? It goes like something like this, and the head goes somewhere here. I don't know, do you see my pencil marks? And now you need to be careful that you don't break these. So maybe you take this kind of grip and you can carve against your, not against, but your finger is here down and start carving chips away. Or maybe this is better. No. Every carver has their own style of making birch, and maybe this is my style. Maybe in the future it's different, but now I like to make birch like this. Quite funny looking, but it's good. Yeah, now we start opening the feather. my style is to make the wings and the tail, and they are different. And I like to start from the top. This is weak, and first to side and another to different side. And then I'll using my lock notch and put this here. Left and right and left and right. And if you think that some feather are weaker than other, then you can just take that away. Or if some feather is thicker than other, take that away. It's important that every feather has the same thickness. I like to use only one notch system, but you can also put like 2 notches. If this first is deeper, you can put that like that the middle part only is under the other. But I put only one. Oh, there is one not so good. And we took there one away, so we just put this to this side, that they are symmetrical all the time. This is weak. This is weak. If you have weak feather, when this dry, they can break, and then all the feathers are moving, and that's not good. You can tie them also. And when you make fanbirds, you know what is good. Your fingers start to learn what is good and what's not. Here is like this now. And yeah, we try to put one more. Luckily, we have this big hole here, and our wing feather are just nicely here. You see that in the beginning, if this thickness was too big or too small, these would crack more, and this breaking would not be so good. But now we have nice bird coming. And we are using the same system to tail, and now we started from the side, from the top, and we are turning this around and making same. So then the tail is coming down like this.
So someone asked if you can cut the interlocking grooves before you soak it in water. Could you cut that on a bandsaw or cut it before you do the soaking?
Yeah, you can cut, you can use bandsaw, and after that, put that to the water. That's okay. Or you can use just fresh wood. Always you don't need to soak these. Yeah, this is weak. We take this away. And we don't want to break those other. Yeah, there is bird. And you can find your own style to make these feather profiles or change them every time. Yeah. Do you have questions?
Jani, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen made out of wood, man. That is awesome.
Thanks. And you can put some nail here and string and find the balance place and put this hanging somewhere. And here, if people have these birds, they like to put them hanging in the Christmas time or something. But yeah, when you are making your friend's new home or somewhere, you can give this to them and they'll put this to the nice place where it brings healthy and wellness and everything to house. But yeah, now if you wanna make this stronger, because now this is wet and it dries and these get a little bit loose. So you can put little bit glue mixed with water somewhere here. Or I don't use glue. I like to use string like here in this little bird. This is one string and I have another bird here and I'll show how I'll put the string here. But yeah, here is the bird.
Do you ever paint them, Jani? Or finish them?
Not yet. Maybe I'll put a link to the chat. It's there you can find different styles. Fanbird. It's Fun Carvers World page. Maybe you have been here. And there is I put user that you can find what kind of birds are there made. So the bird what I just made is the very basic type of the fun bird. You can make whatever you want with wood when you learn this technique.
That was really cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's hope you understood what I was trying to tell you and show you.
I like the birch handles on your carving knives.
Sorry?
I like the birch handles, pronounce it Masser birch.
Yeah, there is. Here is some, I don't know. But this
You
is.
get that from Finland and northern Russia.
Yeah, this is elm. I made this when I was working in Denmark a few years ago. I didn't make the blade myself, but all the other stuff, yeah. And yeah, I like to use, this is this sheet is made from the birch bark, and it's very nice looking, and very good sheet.
Can you put the name of your friend who makes your knife? Can you put
Yeah, you can visit his Instagram page. It's this my friend. He is 22 years old guy, and few years ago he was the Finnish championship of knife making. He's very good. He made ads for me, and in the future he's making axes or some other stuff. And I'll make chainsaw peers here for him. And yeah, here is link. You can see how nice knives he make. He also is studying here in the University of Helsinki Agricultural Sciences, and the knife making is like side job for him. But yeah, I can show how I'll put this string. Do you wanna put the another camera on? I try to start from the left side, and here I have a little string. Maybe you see this or not. It's string and it's red, and I'll put this to the first weather, to the notch, to the lock notch, and now I need to, yeah. So first it's really hard to say what I'm doing. I just try to do how I can make this, and this is the good way. You can use that another string as a lock when you put that first here. This is not possible to say something during I'm making this. This is much faster than using some metal nail or something. Now I have made this much. And these are locking the feathers together. So these are not loose anymore. And there is no glue used. I haven't seen that somebody uses this string, but I like to use this. This is the same style what you are using when you are making knife sheet and you are doing this back and forth. But yeah, maybe that's enough. You see that you can use line or you can put some glue. And don't put any nail or something here before it's dry, because when the wood is wet, it gets loose when it dries. So then it drops off. And now I don't have stuff to put here, but you just put that to the table and don't break this nose, and just knop little bit and touch in, and then you can put the bird hanging. You can see in the backyard my spoons and serving spoons what are in daily use also. Yeah, do you have questions?
Hey, can you tell us a little bit about the chainsaw carving that you do and what all you like to do as far as chainsaw carving?
Yeah, I started 1 year ago making chainsaw carvings, and I made a funny looking eagle in the first time. It wasn't very beautiful, but it hooked me, and I tried to do another eagle, and that was a little bit better, and yeah, I put picture to Instagram, and then some of my friends said, can you make something for me? And I said yes, and I tried to do that, and it was good enough, and I sell them, and next week, no, in 2 weeks, it's Finnish championship of chainsaw carvings where I'm going. And I have been in 2 competitions, and in the first time I was the second in the public vote, and last time I won the public vote, and that was nice. It gives nice boost. And yeah, I have my first exhibition next summer, and there I'll do as much as I can. Last 2 weeks, I only have been carving, and in Instagram and YouTube, you can find my works. I try to be active in YouTube also.
Do you make most of your spoons out of birch?
Yes, here this one is made from the juniper, and juniper is the best wood because there is the things inside this wood that it's very clean, and it smells good, and it's very strong.
You do it when it's green or you also dry?
This is made from dry wood because there was no green juniper available when I made this. But usually I made from fresh wood. It's much faster and better to do. And I made the spoon almost ready and give that dry like 1 or 2 weeks, and then I'll finish that and make finishing cuts and try to have smooth finish. And my goal was from the beginning, in the beginning, that I don't use sandpaper. I don't know what you are thinking, but for me, sandpaper is more like metal for grinding some metal or something to make my knife sharp. Yeah, there is my Instagram linked, and maybe my YouTube can be linked also if somebody wants to see.
All right, any other questions for Jani today?
Extremely good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. It was first time when somebody asked me to do some live demonstration somewhere with wood. But yeah, here is the light is coming. Maybe the face can be a little bit nicer, but maybe I can try to fix this. Or then not, because you need to stop stop when everything is okay. That is a good rule to remember.
All right, Jani, if there's nothing else, I want to thank you again for coming on. That's fantastic work. I'll agree with
Thanks.
what Matt says. That's pretty impressive to see the process start to finish. So thank you for coming on today and showing us that. Hopefully you'll tune in to some of our other meetings and come back again. Maybe we can see you do chainsaw carving or something like that. But thanks for taking your time out to come out and join us.
Yeah,
And,
this was a pleasure.
yeah, it's definitely something we haven't seen before, and that's very beneficial to everybody. So thank you for that. Want to remind you all, Roger Stegall will be on with us next week. I think he's going to do a demonstration on caricature carving. That'll be our last regular weekly meeting. After that, the next meeting will be July the 10th, and I'll be filling you all in next week as far as who we have lined up for those meetings. Stay tuned to social media so that we can share with you what we're doing as far as the one-on-one interviews. We're also planning on turning that into a podcast, so we'll probably put those out on podcasts as well. Tom and I are working on researching that process and see if we can also share through a podcast. So we'll be talking more about that. Make sure you go out and check out woodcarvingacademy.com where you can see upcoming classes. Talked a little bit about the classes that are coming up at the beginning of the meeting, and I know there'll be some others that are scheduled that's not quite out there yet. I know there's some other things in the works, so make sure you check with your Ron and watch Woodcarving Academy if you're interested in those classes, or if you're interested in signing up with a subscription on woodcarvingacademy.com. I think you can do monthly or every 3 months or maybe a yearly subscription through them. So check that out if you're interested. Again, next week we'll be back on with Roger Stegall at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the same number. Thank you all for joining us today. Jani, again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us and sharing with us today. And we'll see you all next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.